This is Ken with Viodi TV. We're at the IP Possibilities 2011 trade show floor. We're with Bernie Arnason of Pivot Media and Telecompetitor. Bernie just moderated a panel on broadband in the year 2020. So we're in year 2011. What does broadband look like? What sort of things should we be expecting?
Yeah, well, it was a challenge with the panel. Obviously, it's hard to figure out where it's going to be a year or two from now, much less 2020. So not sure that we provided a great crystal ball for what broadband 2020 looks like, but we did talk about the importance of things like building a network that enables applications. We talked about the importance of cultural change within telcos. This event exists as a way to discuss the transformation of telcos to broadband carriers. And interestingly enough, we spent a lot of time on the panel not talking about necessarily about technology, but more about how companies need to become much more market aware, and how their networks do need to adapt to more customer needs and the types of demands that customers are going to have. And that's really agnostic in terms of whether that's fiber to the home or wireless or DSL or what that broadband future looks like. It's more about making sure that you're meeting your customers' demands and you have a culture that does that as well.
Was there any magic bullets? To some extent, it sounds like you're talking about having the companies transform into becoming mini Googles or Yahoos or whatever it might be. Were there any magic bullets that the operators or your panelists had in terms of, taking one hat and moving it to a different?
Yeah. We had some really good discussion along those lines in terms of thinking differently as a company. For example, we talked about failure and how historically telcos don't embrace failure and don't have a culture that embraces failure. And in the world that you just outlined, failure is a big part of it. Right. And having the ability to go out and try new things and not be afraid to fail. And so you kind of have to ingrain that in your thinking. We also talked about there's a big move in product development, right? And companies are going to have to be able to introduce a lot of new products and applications and what have you. And those products and applications aren't always going to have, a very well-defined return on investment or a very well-defined business plan. And in some regards, you're just going to have to wing it and, take a chance and see what happens. And you have to be okay with that. Much like some of the companies you outlined do today. They don't necessarily have very well-defined business plans when they launch a product. It's let's put it out there and let's see what happens. And if it doesn't work, obviously we're not advocating you bet the farm or you bet the whole company on that, but you have to be willing to try new things and not be afraid to fail.
And you just really illuminated something I'd never really considered before. I mean, the PSTN was built for reliability. It was built for not changing. So you've got a real dichotomy here because on the one hand, we don't want our networks to act the way some of, like my email works, right? Yeah. So how do you bridge that gap?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. I mean, that's the challenge that I think these companies are going through, and it's a process. I don't think that there is a silver bullet answer to that question. I think for a lot of companies, it's going to be different. I think there are some companies who are much further along in that process and kind of understand it than others. But I guess the key point is it is a process. It's something that takes time. It's not a flash cut. But we're going to all have to figure it out, if we're going to survive. And I'm very optimistic and confident that we'll be able to do that.
Well, great. Well, we'll make an appointment to meet up in 9 years, and we'll discuss that topic then.
See how good we did.
Yeah.
Huh? All right,
great. Well, thanks, Bernie.
Thank you.